If you are the attacking or the bombing team, your spawn point is right about where my hand is. So if the camera wasn't here, it's going to be about in here. If you've played our map before, it's the orange or the near side spawn. I've numbered all the doors, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bomb site A is in the middle of the castle. Bomb site B, if you look off to the left side of this picture, is the letter B represents bomb site B. You have a 5-player team. Let's keep in mind, one of the most important parts is sprinting off the start. Once the whistle blows, once the round starts, if any of your teammates are not in a dead sprint for the first at least 2 seconds of the start of the round, you're going to lose that. I'm telling you right now, you're going to lose that round. Because the most important thing is who can get to the bomb site first. Who can get to their site, who can secure the site, and who can prevent the other team from getting there and imposing whatever their will is or accomplishing their objective. If you're the bombing team, the attacking team, who starts in the near side spawn, all 4 of your guys need to dead sprint into bomb site A. The 5th guy is going to run side security for basically flank protection. So you notice off to the right side where the purple is, player 5 can move there and sort of secure that side, or they can go to where closer to bomb site B and start fighting those guys off. It depends on whatever you want to do. If you go in the yellow or the left side where 5A is, you're most likely going to be encountering more of the defending players, because those defending players are going to set up a defense for bomb site B, so you can start picking some of those guys off. I've numbered the doors 1, 2, 3, and 4. Door 1 is the door your guys are going to be entering through. In these corners, they're also numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4 with colored arrows. In my opinion, corner 1 and corner 2 are the most important, because corner 1 is covering door 4. Door 4 is most likely, typically, door number 4 is the door that the defending team who starts in the top left corner of this picture, they are most likely going to be coming from door 4 and door 3. That's why corners 1 and 2, corner 1 has the green arrow pointing to door 4, corner 2 has the red arrow pointing to door 3. Those 2 are going to be the most important. The other nice thing about players 5 on the purple or on the yellow side is they are also covering doors 2 and door 3. So there's at least 2 guns on 1 door. You don't really have to worry about corner 4. So I've numbered the corners 1, 2, 3, 4 for the order of priority, basically, or the most important. Corner 4, you don't really need it. You don't need it because door 1 is your door. So unless 5A, unless your 5th guy is 5A, and unless he gets taken out, you really don't have to worry about it. Because if they go through door 1, your defense failed. Something has failed you if they're going through door number 1. Because that means they got behind you. They flanked you. They swept you. And they're coming in, they're taking your back. But all you really need to do is rush in at a dead sprint. 1 guy plants the bomb, and the other 3 guys plant in corners 1 through 3. That's it. That's the easiest way to do it. And the guy on the outside is going to be protection somewhere. I recommend that the medic not be player 5. Medic should probably either be the bomb carrier or, most importantly, the guy who's going to go up to corner 2. So corner 2 should be probably the third fastest, basically. The first guy through the door should be a gunner. That gunner should be hosing walls and clearing the way out for the bomber. The bomber should be the number 2 guy. 3 guys should just either be a medic or another player, and then your 4th guy should either be another player or the medic. Before the bomber plants the bomb, you need to have corner 1 and corner 2 set and ready to go. Once that bomb is planted, the bomber can either go to 3 or 4. I don't recommend doing double duty on a corner. It's not needed. You've got full auto guns. You know what you're doing. Don't put 2 guys in 1 corner, because every corner has a purpose. You need 360 security in that door. You also have no business looking out the high windows. You get in a corner, you kneel down, and you hose any and everyone that comes through that doorway. That's it. You wait for the clock to run out. Now, here's the other nice thing about player 5. Let's say player 5 is he's on the right side. He's running purple side. And he gets taken out. Once he starts calling for a medic, you know, or reasonably know, that there is at least a player or a certain amount of players that are trying to take you out from that side. If you don't hear anything on the left side from player 5A, say your 5A guy's in play, and you don't hear anything from him, they're probably going to the other side of the map. But that's the advantage by having all 4 players in the middle and a 5th player as a skirmisher on the other side. That 5th player is your intel, either directly by shouting out player positions, or once he dies and starts shouting out medic, you know where their players are at. Also, once the shots start firing, you know where players are at. You know where everything is because you can hear them. But 4 dudes, run in the middle. Dead sprint. Listen to me. Dead sprint. If once that whistle blows and once that round starts, all 5 of your players are not in the fastest sprint of their life, you're going to lose that round. Because the bombing team's objective, the way to win this match, is to be in the bomb first and plant the bomb first. Because that is what will put the defending team on the objective. When in the MLA format, once the round starts, the defending team automatically starts with the advantage. Because all the defending team has to do is just keep you from planting the bomb. That's it. They don't even have to shoot you. They don't have to kill you. They have to prevent you from planting the bomb. You don't really have to fire a shot to do that necessarily. If the attacking team is just hesitant to move because they're afraid of getting hosed, great, they're going to run out the clock. Once the attacking or the bombing team plants the bomb, the advantage then goes to the attacking team, because now the attacking team turns into defenders and the defending team turns into attackers because they have to attack their way to the bomb to defuse it. That makes sense? It should make sense because that's the right way to do this. Let's talk about what you're looking at corner 1. Bam. Here's part of corner 1. You're going to be you don't really have to worry about the doorway because there should be coverage on that door from corner 2, and we will look at that in a second. There's a small window just beyond that door where a player could catch you at an angle, but it's just something you're going to need to be very aware of that. Also, you should be kneeling. Notice I have the red line at the top of the building. You need to be crouched. If you're standing, you can get popped off from a distance because look at the structures beyond the red line. You can get shot in the face if you're standing by a player that's closer to the spawn point. That's just how that angle is going to work out. Here is what corner 1 needs to be concerned about. That doorway. And there is also, it's hard to see in this picture, but that's why I put that red circle on it. If you look at that red circle to the right, that is the window. That is the doorway of the most importance. That's why the bomber needs to not be concerned about doors or windows. And the first guy through the door needs to be the corner 1 player. Because the corner 1 player needs to prevent all defending players from coming through that doorway. And that's also why the corner 2 guy needs to be set in place as well, so he can prevent players from coming in from that left side door that we just talked about. You don't, as the corner 1 player, because of the way that the doorways are formed, corner 1 does not have to worry about that doorway. Notice how if I'm looking at this doorway straight ahead as the corner 1 player, I can see straight through the door. I don't have to worry about door 3. We're looking at door 3 right here. I don't have to worry about that because my corner 2 player should have that under control. Here's what corner 2 is going to be looking at. The door 3 and that window off to the right, because you can get shot clear through that. So as long as corner 2 is sucked back deep into this corner pretty well with that right side protection, with the rifle on the left shoulder, they'll be fine. It's going to be very challenging to get a player out in that deep corner if they're playing their coverage and their barricade game right. Now off to the left is going to be the door your team came through, or door number 4. You really don't have to worry about that door. That's the door you just came through. You should not have to worry about that door for quite some time because you just came through it. And at the start of the round, it is almost impossible. If you're playing your strategy right, it should be impossible for the defending team to come through that door, through door number 1, after you guys get all your stuff set. But corner 1 and corner 2 are the most important because they're going to protect the bomber and they're going to protect each other. You need that 360 protection, otherwise you're going to have a lot of problems. What we're looking at here is door number 3. Corner 3 takes door 3. That's the one off to the right. There's also a window there. We're not worried about door number 4, which is the doorway off to the left, because remember, that's what corner 1 has. We're working on that 360 protection. So when you're in a corner, when you're a corner player, you are not worried about the door to your left or to your right. You're worried about the door that's basically straight in front of you. You don't have to worry about what's next to you. You need to worry about what's in front of you, because what is next to you is being covered by the player to your left or to your right, by someone else. Don't do someone else's job. And here's what corner 4 is. This can usually end up being the bomber if you want it to, because if you see to the right, that little trough area, that's where the bomb's going to be planted. The doorway off straight across, kind of to that far right, is the doorway you guys came through. Because if in the top left corner, if you can kind of make it out, that's where your spawn point is. So all corner 4 is doing is really just protecting your back. That's sort of it. We're not worried about the door to the left because that's door 3 and that's being covered by the player to your right at corner number 3. We're not worried about that. And again, as long as you're not standing up, you really don't have anything to worry about. All you have to do is get in a good kneeling position and suck back to that left or right coverage depending on where you're at. Once the bomb gets planted, you're going to expect a rush. They're going to try and come from all angles. They're going to try and take you out from the window. They're going to try and do a lot of things. But as long as you can just stall them for the 90 seconds required until the bomb goes off, you'll be fine. As long as you have your internal security set in a 360 manner, and as long as you have that one player that's protecting either your left or your right lane, you'll be okay. And you're also listening. Here's another thing. Once you guys get set and once the bomb is planted, no one should be talking. You keep your mouth shut. For the most part, realistically, no one should really be talking at all except the outside player 5, because that's the player that should be calling out where the player positions are at. And once that player goes down and starts calling out for a medic, that's all the communication you need. That's your intel. Once you get in the castle, why do you need to talk? Why? Your guns are going to do the talking for you. I don't need to say anything as long as I'm doing my job. As long as I'm doing my job, I'm going to shoot, and that shooting is going to tell you where the players are. You can listen for other footsteps. You can listen for movement. All you have to do is sit still and shut your mouth. And the other team will tell you where they're at with their footsteps, with their communication, with their gunfire. Let the other team tell you where they're at. Don't say anything. You can do this without saying a peep if you're inside the castle. Once you get in the castle, shut your mouth. All right, here's the plan if you want to attack bomb site B. I personally don't recommend going to bomb site B, which is off to the left if you haven't figured that out, because it's easier to play deep corners for protection and security. There's a lot of angles, there's a lot of guys kind of staggered and all over the place. It's not as easy to take and hold bomb site B as it is bomb site A because of the deep corners. Before the bomb gets planted, you need to set that security. Unless you have a bomber that is just so fast on their feet, they can hit that dead sprint fast and get to the bomb site B faster than the defending team can defend it. If that's what you got, use it. I don't recommend player 1 is a bomber. Player 1 needs to be your point guy. That needs to be someone that's right there, ready to go in place. You notice I have a lot of this is going to be off to the left. So you have 3 players, player 1, 5, and 2, playing basically the site security. Players 3 and 4, who are in the middle and the right side, are really just protecting the left, or they're stalling for time. Player 4 is more or less preventing a sweep. That's why all their whole job is to stay in one main area and just hose players and pin them down and keep them from sweeping and taking the back. If player 4 goes down, there's a pretty good chance you know that a sweep is coming. That's okay, because if we look at player 3, they can either take the angle in front of them or they can pick up the angle off to the right, and they can act as a secondary line of defense once player 4 goes down. That is player three's job. Player three is kind of like shortstop in this manner. They're kind of in the middle. They can back up second base. They can back up third base. It's kind of like your shortstop player. They're very diverse. So player three needs to be one of your more experienced players who can transition from left to right side coverage very easily. So you can see player two off to the left with that red arrow. Player two is covering the doorway, which is where that bomb is. Player one is covering that other door and hallway. Player one can also cover the, you can kind of see that it's sort of a U-shaped or like a backward C. Player one can either cover the front, or they can also kind of run protection on that long hall also in that snake hallway. Player five is going directly to the bomb site. Or if they can't go directly to the bomb site, they're making every effort to get there. But you have to be aggressive with going to that bomb site. I recommend either player two or player one be the medic on this one. I don't recommend having your medics be player three or player four because of the nature of their position and because of the fact that they're alone. So if you run a medic on player four and he needs to go heal player one or two, they have to abandon their post, run all the way to the other side of the map, heal them, and then hopefully be able to fight their way back to their original position. That's too much. That's too much to do. Medic needs to either be one or two. I recommend medic be two. It's a personal recommendation because you can sacrifice two. You just make player one have to do a lot more work. That's something you can do in a pinch. But player one's that's going to be one of the more important lanes, which we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you why in a second. This is what player one is looking at. It's pretty deep. You have that one window that opens up a lot. I recommend you play to the left side of this board. I do not recommend you play to the right side of the angle because if, let's say you're playing to the right, you're using your left shoulder and your stand back, and you're real hard to shoot from that angle down the left window. If you look off to the right, there are several deep layers of buildings, several angles that you can be shot from. I recommend you switch your rifle to the right shoulder and play the left side of this behind that left side board. If you want, depending on how you guys are set up and depending on what the other team is doing, you can fight your way on that right side hallway and kind of push up a little. That's fine. But you need to as long as you understand what the layout of this map is going to do, and as long as you understand that you're doing more than you need to. Remember, all you have to do is the perimeter security team for the bombers is just hold a lane and wait for the bomb. After that bomb gets planted, you can shift and move around a little bit because all you have to do is just stall for time. Here's what player two is going to be looking at depending on how deep you want to go. They have a better line of sight on that doorway, and depending on how close or how far you are is going to dictate whether or not you're going to be covering that doorway better or the window better, or both. You can play both angles as long as you understand that that's two different windows or two different lanes you can be shot from. But as soon as you have this little piece secure, you need to send your bomber in because that bomb is going to go right on against that gray board on the outside of the structure. I'm not putting that B bomb inside of that building because it's too hard for my refs to officiate it. That's why it's there. Because when I'm placing bombs, it needs to be in a spot that is going to be easy to ref from.